J360 Radio.
Hello, J360 Legion, and welcome to the J360 MiniBytes here on J360 Radio, hosted by J.M. Brady. I am your host, J.M. Brady. Let's get into it. Hey, it's been a while since that jingle played, huh? Yeah. Well, guess what? Retirement's over, man. Or actually a hiatus. It wasn't really retirement. And not to mention, I've been working on a whole bunch of stuff in the background anyway, so I guess hiatus for this series is done. The MiniBytes are back on the air for Season 6, and I am your host, J-Man, of course. And it's good to be here, y'all. Hey, you know what? Just in time for Jammaversary, too, because after this week, June's in bloom. And you know what? So is the music and celebrating J360 Jams for the 5th year. Going all the way to the end with it, man. You know what I mean? Nothing but jams across the month. And giving a spotlight to all the musicians. Well, there's a lot of y'all now. So as many as we can, okay? But yeah, it's going to be a very exciting time. And not to mention, I still got the J360 Radio hotline available for any of you all out there that would like to talk about your album for a minute. I wish I had thrown that to you guys last jams, but I was kind of working on some stuff for it, but now it's finalized, now it's ready to go, so anytime y'all want to call in and talk about things, because I know Apraxis just released Paradox Room, and I know that Rogue Effects has a listening party coming up for his new album called Endgame, and I think Endgame's supposed to be coming in 2 days, isn't it? Something like that. I hope I'm not overshooting the landing. I just know that there's a lot of information going through, and Jams is still the highlight of it. Now, some of y'all are probably wondering why it was just J360 Jams there for a little bit, because, well, it's still the upgrade saga going on, and I'm doing a lot of newer things for J360 Productions in general. So, you know, that was like the best show for y'all. And plus, with all that's going on in the United States right now, you know, y'all need it. Let's just be perfectly honest. Y'all needed music to help you get through this. Music is therapeutic. Music helps you get out of a funk. Music is just the most beautiful thing on earth. And, you know, for some reason, people still have a hard time accepting that, you know, it's better when it's not AI composed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen some of that AI music stuff not too long ago, and personally I think it's trash, but you know, there are some that are like parody songs, and they're funny, but the thing about it is, don't get so soaked into AI to the point where you limit and dull yourself. I mean, a lot of us are going through a very rough patch in terms of mental health, and I've noticed that on the real that a lot of us could make some changes about things, you know? And I want to go ahead and stretch this enough about mental health here. For one thing, whoever you're trying to impress, whether they be family members, whether they be your crush, whether they be somebody in your life that you think, you know, should be in your life, let us think for a minute. You know, the version of them in your head is always going to be perfect. But when you look at them as people, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you really look at people in your life as people, you got to understand they're just as flawed as you are, if not more so. And the thing about it is this. Stop trying to impress them. Create because you want to create. Create because it brings you happiness and that it's something that's really exciting to you. And I can't stress it enough, but let me just tell you guys this, right? You all know, like, I mention my parents a lot, right? And my difficulties with them from time to time. Even though I love them to death, and you should, you know, like, love is a lot different than liking somebody. But, you know, there are moments where I don't agree with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I go on my own and I do my own things and stuff. Because, you know what? You don't live with them anymore. That's your whole point. You know what I'm saying? But we're all still trying to reach for this certain pivot point, or this certain, you know, what is it, validation that we are just never going to get. And the truth is that with my parents, I look at them like this. This is as good as it's going to get. I am not killing myself, or, you know, let's just say this. I'm not overextending my value anymore for, like, you know, things that just come and go. You see what I'm saying? And the truth is, love goes a lot deeper than that, but you got to realize, when it comes right down to it, stop trying to impress people. You know what I mean? I've been doing these shows for I've been doing J360 Production as a whole for close to 20 years. And I've done the J-Man show for close to 10. And I remember one time, my parents were over there trying to dictate how I talk. I said, you don't raise me anymore. You know what I mean? He ain't raised me in 20 years. What the hell you think? Like, the passing of the guard happened when I was 18. I'm sorry, this is my show now. I ain't asking for much. You know what I mean? And not only that, all late and wrong. That's 362. You didn't think I was a problem in episode 1? Or like when the first season ended at 40 episodes and I kept calling Trump out of all the stuff that he did? Which somehow is now coming. How the hell did we get an how did we get an Empire Strikes Back version of Trump? I'll never understand this mess. But the idea is this, and I know some of y'all are laughing, but keep in mind, it's a very ironic joke I did because that's really sad, by the way. But as I go back to telling you this, like a lot of us are out here and we're all trying to get that validation from other people. And the truth is you may never get it. And the thing about it is you might want to give validation to yourself. Be happy that you create. Be happy that you have the skill set to create. Be happy that you have a skill set in general. You know what I'm saying? Like some of you out there are ashamed to admit that you're college graduated and stuff. Yeah, there are people out here that do that now. They are so ashamed. People want you to be ashamed of a lot of things, and they're running out of stuff to make you ashamed of. It's time to just go ahead and just wear it as a badge of honor and say, fuck y'all, I'm here. I live for me. And when you really think about it, I don't make my shows for my parents' validation anyway. I stopped trying to impress them years ago because I already do enough as it is on my own. See, it's different when the power dynamic changes. It's different when, like, you know, independence come into play. And you'll notice this about a lot of people in your family, a lot of people in your life. When you get to that point where you don't need them anymore, they start acting a certain way, don't they? Think about it. And the truth is that, like, I'm saying this as being true to yourself. You got to love yourself. A lot of us leave ourselves in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, as we try to get through life, we should look at, like, getting through life as, like, riding a train. And, you know, we command and we conduct on that train. And usually, yeah, you have, like, 3 people. But think about the 3 people who are originally running trains and stuff like that. Think about the 3 people that originally ran a train as, like, 3 components of your life. Maybe your id, your ego, and your superego in general. You know what I'm saying? Think about those as parts of you, but the thing is you keep leaving the most important part of yourself in the caboose. And that's not a good way about that. The caboose is in the back. Why would you do that? You got to go ahead and bring yourself up and be good about things. I dealt with it all, guys. I dealt with a lot of criticisms, ridiculousness, moments dealing with other content creators, which, backfired in other ways. But at the same time, people want you to be content with being mediocre. But the thing about it is, it's not their permission or their final say for you to be mediocre. You're not mediocre. Do better for yourself. And I want a lot of y'all to realize that no matter what happens, no matter how things go down and stuff, and I want to say this, that suicide is not the answer. See, May was Mental Health Month. You know what I mean? And I don't think I talk about it enough on this program. But I want a lot of y'all to realize that you have value. You matter. You might not matter to them. You might not be on the first top 3 moments in the pecking order for them. But let me just tell you this, right? You don't live for hierarchy. You live for you. Okay? And before any of y'all try to say, what about Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Shut up. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you. You know what I'm saying? You got to take care of you, and with the right reason, because I'm seeing too many people out here with an axe to grind for nothing. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? That being said, I love my family enough, but I call the shots for the things that I do, and I always have. So I've been doing great so far, so I ain't worried about it no more. And I look at like a lot of the other people that are around me, and a lot of y'all need to make peace with that kind of stuff so you can just live your lives and move on and flourish. And the thing is, don't wait for permission to do that either. Do it today. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's sitting here and they just worried about this, worried about that. Everything is bad news. And the problem with social media, bad news doesn't happen in minutes. Bad news happens in seconds, along with misinformation and all this other crazy stuff that comes into play, such as trying to achieve freedom through bigotry and conspiracy theories. That is just stupid. But as I say these things, y'all, I'm telling you this to help you out and to keep myself together, Because this is our time now. Like I said, AI is not going to go away when you're not creating, right? You know what I'm saying? By you not being active in what you do and stuff, you're letting them win. You let everybody win. You cut yourself down, you dull yourself, and that's just terrible. But, hey, what do I know, right? I'm just getting through this like you guys are. But I want you guys to know that stuff. And speaking of the J-Man Show's future, well, much like the MiniBytes, the seasons were on hiatus, but the J-Man Show's coming back in July. So one way or another, that season is going to be full as you think. We're going to have a season 10 for that. And just like the MiniBytes, this is going to be a season 7. Ain't no stopping. And you see the saying about jams and stuff? Well, you might have to wait until Jammaversary to find out about that. All right? But other than that, though, like I said, these shows are coming into play. And, things are going good with college and everything. I'm kicking ass, man. That's all there is to it. Speaking of which, about like how the upgrade saga is going, there's still plenty that need to be done. And you are not going to get too much of an update from me on the update saga because you're going to see it. And you will know. So you have to stay tuned to things. Which, by the way, the YouTube channel has grown to 258 subscribers. I know it's not something to write home about, but it ain't 0, so you're going to have to take that nonsense. But you know what's cool about it is I'm on the road to where that can be monetized. And you know what? Here's the thing. I'm looking forward to that growth. So if anybody wants to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/J360 Productions and, like the content, it would be a big help. Because here's the thing, that'll be a pretty good hub for us and you'll get a lot more over there as well. It's all about meeting the needs of the demands of the people around me. So if you want more J360 TV content, chances are it will be on the YouTube and we are going to keep that stuff running. Now, as far as those of you who do not know, let's see, because it's true, y'all don't know this. Let's see. What was it? It was important. I guess it's gone. Anyway, I'm just messing. Nah, what it was is that we don't use StreamYard no more. We don't use StreamYard anymore. Yeah, it's a thing of the past. We don't do that anymore. However, for those of you that signed up for the Discord for J360 Productions, and if you didn't, let me know about it via social media or email me at j360jams@gmail.com about it and I'll get you on board. That's going to be the new outlet. That's already set up and ready to go. So stay tuned for some Project Conference stuff to fly through later in the summer. Okay? So lots of cool things are going down. Lots of things are happening. And you know what? Just going to keep on coasting. But I want you all to remember this, though. Take care of yourself. We still got a lot of great things happening in the future and stuff like that. We can get through this Trump stuff. But I want you all to remember, don't lose yourself in the process, okay? But that was a story for another time. Oh, wait, Friday. Yes, Friday belongs to Jams again. Jams 114 is happening this Friday. It is going to be amazing. The lineup is looking good, and that is a pre-Jammaversary show, so it's a big deal, and you do not want to miss it. 8 o'clock p.m. is where it all goes down this Friday for J360 Jams 114. And speaking of the MiniBytes, I know we did it at 9 o'clock tonight, but we're going to be cranking it back up to 8 o'clock p.m., happening every Tuesday. But that's all I can tell you for now. I got to get on out of here. This is J-Man signing off. Peace.